Hello. Today I wanted to talk to you about how to hold the bow. This is the step-by-step approach I use to teach my students how to hold the bow. So step one, and this is going to seem kind of counterintuitive, but you're going to hold the bow with your left hand. And this is just to stabilize the bow because you're actually going to hold the bow with your right hand. So take the bow by the screw with your left hand, and you want to hold it so the hair is pointing up towards the ceiling and the stick is pointing away from your left hand. So that's step one. Now step two, we're going to make this shape with our hand. Middle two fingers together, the middle and ring finger are together. Okay? Now we're going to look at our middle knuckles here, and we're going to hold our hand out and place the bow on those two knuckles, all right? We want to place it so those fingers are right under the frog, okay? So step three, I think, we're going to bend our thumb, and I bend mine pretty far, like it's at a right angle, right? So then we take that bent thumb and we put it on the stick, okay? So I put my nail on the stick so that the very tip of my thumb is touching the stick, right next to the nail. And then the top of my thumb here is actually touching the hair. You can actually touch the hair here, it's a good thing. Okay, then the next step, we're going to bend our pinky and put our pinky under the stick so that our nail is also touching this part, okay? Right here. And then these two fingers, your middle finger and your ring finger, are just going to go over the frog. They're going to rest over the frog. If you have a circle on your frog, I like to call that the eye of the frog, and we blindfold our frog, okay? And then once you have all this in place, you're going to flip it over, and you have your bow hold, okay? So my pinky is nice and curved. Sometimes I see people, when they first start to learn to hold the bow, their middle knuckle here flattens out, and this is all flat. So make sure it's nice and curved. And you see how much space I have here in my hand. It's like I'm holding a ball almost. So make sure you have a nice big space in your hand and you can see through where your thumb is. My thumb is nice and bent still, and these two fingers, my ring finger and my middle finger, are covering the frog, okay? So this is the bow hold. Some exercises that I teach my students to keep the bow hold, because whenever you're moving around, you might lose what you have and slip a little bit. So there's some things that I do to help them get control over holding the bow. You put your arms straight out like this, and these are called windshield wipers. That's what I call them. And you just turn your wrist so that your bow's upside down and then back again. You do this a few times, and then you check your bow to make sure, or your bow hold, to make sure it hasn't moved at all. And if it has, fix it. So there are three things you need to look for when correcting your bow hold, and that is make sure your thumb is bent. Make sure your thumb is bent. Make sure your pinky is nice and curved and the very tip of it is on the stick. The tip of your thumb should be on the stick. And then the third thing you need to look for is for these fingers to be draping over the frog, all the way over. See how these fingers are very close to the edge of the frog? That's the way it should be. You shouldn't be up here. I see this pretty often. You don't want to do that. It's really hard to hold the bow like that. You might be thinking you're getting more grip, but this is actually easier and more natural. Okay? And then you don't want to be holding your bow up here. The weight distribution of the bow makes it harder to hold up here. So this is actually the easiest place to hold it. All right? And then, you know, I tell my students just to like do this kind of thing, like we're stirring a pot of soup. What are you gonna make? And then you taste it. But you don't actually taste it, right? Because you don't want to lick your bow. But when you taste it, you're going to be checking your bow hold. Make sure your thumb is bent and the tip is on the stick. And then your pinky is bent and curved and the tip is on the stick. And you're blindfolding your frog. These fingers are draped over the frog. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you learn how to hold the bow. And I'll see you later.